Quickity quackin', what's smackin'? It's Duckoblo here. I am a small-time Twitch streamer who has found himself hooked on Pokemon recently. While I spend most of my time playing the older generations, my true interest has been VGC and the competitive Pokemon scene. See, I used to play mildly in Pokemon Scarlet before the DLC was introduced. It was the first Pokédex I ever completed, and I found myself super intrigued with the PvP battle style of doubles. After slowly falling out of pace with the meta and not being able to keep up with breeding my own teams, I slowly fell off and moved on to other games, as many of you have. I want to talk about how the competitive scene is going to be changing drastically soon, for the better or worse. So, first of all, for those who don't know, VGC, or Video Game Championship, is the competitive format of the Pokemon games. It has several banned Pokemon, with some restrictions on moves and items to create a balanced battle while not allowing a steamroll with one built-up Pokemon. It uses a Bring 6, Pick 4 format, allowing for shorter matches which require a lot more thought put into each turn. VGC is not only important to Pokemon because it's one of the main in-game focuses, but it also puts the most eyes on the game in terms of viewers. With a concrete competitive format, this allows for a meta that not only can be studied and refined, but also countered. We often see big name players like Wolfie VGC or Cybertron who brainstorm these amazing teams that hundreds of players take, tweak to their liking, and bring them to Pokemon Showdown or Battle Stadium using Pokepaste or other methods. This is great, and I am glad players are able to use these teams and maybe even make adjustments to them. But there is a major problem when it comes to team building. This problem the Pokemon franchise is currently facing is just how hard it is to actually create a competitively viable team. And I'm not just talking about using some variation of the meta. I'm not an expert, but I have watched a good amount of YouTube videos going into detail about how much real money is needed for some Pokemon, but also time spent catching and training the team. This is a huge issue for players like me, who come from trading card games where you can easily replace a card to adjust your deck. The idea of being able to make my opponents wonder whether or not my legendary Pokemon is an attack-based sweeper or a stubborn tanky build is very intriguing, but knowing I would have to spend either hours resetting to get the right IVs or use a third-party software to RNG manipulate it greatly deters me from even trying. The world champion of VGC himself says team building is half of the game, or the preparation phase. Now I know team building isn't required to compete, but if it is a major part that is being restricted, that just limits the player base willing to compete. If Champions is in any way similar to Pokemon Showdown in terms of battling and allowing easy build control, this could rocket Pokemon's competitive scene to untold heights. No longer will third-party software be needed to try out a brilliant idea for a team you have. Not all of us have the resources that Wolfie does. While it would be awesome to get a ton of help in training Pokemon for an exciting Perish Trap team, most casual players don't have the help and would rather settle for a team that has a higher win rate. I think this will allow for a ton of new team builders and content creators to thrive and shake up the meta. Not only could it mean a boost of interest, this would also likely result in an increase of participating trainers in tournaments. If we take a look at other games that have gone free to play or made competitive scene easier to access, we can only see a boost in popularity. Now, I'm not going to say this popularity sticks, but it is a larger audience that gets to actually see the game. Now, this is all speculation for what may come. I need to also address that this might turn out horribly. There is mention of bringing in your own Pokemon from games on the website. Personally, this makes me nervous. It'll lean more into relying on old training methods, which is the most glaring issue. If Pokemon Champions doesn't change up the team building process for Pokemon, this could create a bigger divide in the community. With the newest title, Pokemon Legends Z through A, completely changing the battle style, this would result in trainers forced to interact with systems that aren't even rooted in the style of play they are after. I seriously doubt the Pokemon Company will have that heavy restriction on their competitive scene, so I'm going to remain positive for the future of VGC. Thank you all for watching. I would love to hear some of your thoughts in the comments on what you think Pokemon Champions can do for VGC. When Pokemon Champions releases, I definitely plan on checking it out on stream. And who knows, maybe I'll be the future world champion.